and welcome to Birmingham City Hall. We're at a regular meeting of the Birmingham City Commission, Monday, August 24th, 2026. It is 7 p.m. We are at 151 Martin Street in Birmingham. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Bingham, if you could please call the roll.
Mayor Ballard?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Commissioner Hopes?
Here.
Commissioner Cole?
Here.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Here.
Okay, we have proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, awards, appointments, resignations, and confirmations, administrations of oaths, and introduction of guests and announcements. So our first announcement is a happy birthday to Commissioner Host, and we usually permit the birthday boy or girl to have happy birthday sung, and the answer to that is no. So we're going to move on. Join your friends, Jim Nash, Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner, and the City of Government of Birmingham, Michigan, for an afternoon of education and bug fun. See how stormwater moves through our community and why it matters. Friends of the Rouge monitoring team will be leading a bug hunt where you will see some of these important Rouge River critters up close and learn why we look for them. This is Saturday, August 29th, from noon to 3 p.m. at Linden Park. I was led to believe that hot dogs would be served.
I know nothing about this event.
Okay, hot dogs may be served. I have to admit, I suggested this event, and it's because many of our residents do not know what sits underneath Linden Park, and it is a massive CSO drain, a retention basin. It's as big as a 6-story building under there, and there is a beautiful building, a stone building on the property that sort of the control center for that, and they're going to be explaining how that works and maybe giving us a look inside. I have some announcements that are not on the agenda. First, as promised, as usual, an update on the community house. The board of the Community House Foundation has approved the formation of an executive committee consisting of its officers, President Anthony Long, Vice President Ava Kirkman, and Treasurer Rob Bowen, as well as myself and City Attorney Mary Kucharik. This was in an effort to move things along as quickly as possible. The committee has no decision-making authority and is bringing all of its findings to the full board for discussion and decisions. Also, the board has voted to authorize the executive committee to enter into negotiations with Cutting Edge Cuisine to provide hospitality and other services to the house. Come in. Okay. Welcome. Where are we? And other services to the house. Cutting Edge is owned by Chef Zach Sklar, who lives in Birmingham and is a partner in several local restaurants, including Social, Mex, Bose, and Como's. He also owns and operates Strive Staffing, which provided staffing for the community house for several of the past years under its previous ownership. Also, our legal team, Mary Kucharik and Anthony Long, are hard at work with Rob Bowen negotiating an agreement with Birmingham Public Schools for operation of the Early Childhood Center. We're hopeful that can be completed and state license can be accomplished in time for the September start of school, but as we get closer to that point, it seems unlikely. No guarantees, that's just our hope. Otherwise, we are hard at work on a variety of other fronts. We have an email address to which any inquiries can be sent. It is info@birminghamcommunityhouse.org. That's solid. info@birminghamcommunityhouse.org. Sam Surnow, a member of the board, and his team continue to evaluate the physical plant and its needs. Many of you may know Ron Ray and Roman Bonoslawski. They've toured the building and will be providing pro bono a design roadmap for upgrades to such things as paint, carpet, and lighting. As many of you know, they're based here on Frank Street, have designed many of the spaces we cherish in town, and have a long-standing commitment to the city of Birmingham. Ron was one of the key designers behind the renovation of Shane Park some years ago. We are hard at work on a new website with the assistance of Mayor Pro Tem Long and BMG Media, a local company on Maple, which has agreed to develop our website pro bono. Speaking of pro bono, Near Perfect Media is handling our public relations pro bono, and we are actively soliciting other firms locally owned and operated to help us with such things as technology, building maintenance, and those building improvements. So if you know of a community-minded firm, please let us know. We will be happy to reach out to them. Otherwise, we will also soon begin the process of looking for an executive director. A reminder that we do not intend the community house operations to be supported by tax dollars. Rather, we intend to rely on donations to help fund our programs. We have a goal initially of taking in at least $100,000 by the end of the year to fully realize the matching grant of $100,000 from Seaholm High School graduate, the actor Tim Allen. Until we have online donations set up, please send any donations care of the Birmingham City Manager here at 151 Martin Street, Birmingham 48009. Our committees are also still seeking volunteers. Those include a programming committee, a special events committee, building, development and communications, and finance and audit. If you have skills to contribute and you're interested in volunteering on any of those committees, please send an email to info@birminghamcommunityhouse.org. And finally, a very important reminder that if you or someone you know have or intend to include the community house in your estate plans, it's important that those plans be reviewed so that the money goes to your intended recipient. The owner and operator of the building at 380 South Bates Street is now the City of Birmingham Community House Foundation and not the former owner, which was known as the Community House Association. I know it's confusing, but this is crucial for anyone who wants their gift to go to the historic house on Shane Park. Now for a change of subject, I have another bit of announcement. I want to take this opportunity to address something some of you may be here for tonight, and that is some recent incidents downtown, the many observations that we've all heard in the past week or so that downtown doesn't feel safe at night during the weekends anymore, and what we're doing about it. Our new chief of police is here tonight as well, and he will be making some remarks in a moment. Nobody should minimize the seriousness of the recent incidents in downtown Birmingham or in Birmingham. Gunfire at a short-term rental last spring was horrifying. Disorder associated with the rental of a private pool and the city's response was unacceptable. And recent late-night fights downtown deserve prompt and serious response from our police department, which they got. These serious incidents and the community's perception are vitally important, and I want everybody here and anybody listening to know that everyone up here on the commission and in the city administration hears you. I heard someone on TV say that commissioners ought to take a field trip downtown, as if we commissioners don't regularly visit downtown. I know Commissioner Kolb lives at Birmingham Place. Most of us live within a mile or so. And for my part, I'm there many weekend nights, often with my family. We see the crowds and we become part of them. We navigate through young and old, black and white, Chaldean and Albanian, Christian and Muslim. We don't fear the crowds and diversity, we welcome them. But can it sometimes feel overwhelming? Absolutely. Do we agree that we need more cops on patrol? Absolutely. Have we ourselves or any of our neighbors gotten entangled in any brawls? Fortunately, no. But as we contemplate this and shape our perceptions, let's try to focus on facts. Viral videos are powerful, but they are not by themselves evidence of dark trends. We live, after all, in an era in which nearly everyone carries a high-definition video camera in their pocket. An altercation that 20 years ago might have been witnessed by a few dozen people can now be recorded, posted online, and within minutes, and shared thousands of times, and be rebroadcast by television stations precisely because dramatic social media video is inexpensive to produce compelling news. A viral video changes our perception of crime and disorder, but it does not necessarily mean we have more or more serious incidents. What we need to be asking, and what our police chief will answer shortly, is, are serious crimes on the rise? Are the number of calls for police service increasing? Are response times deteriorating? Are particular establishments or locations generating disproportionate problems? So I'm going to ask Chief Ryan Kearney, our new police chief, to come up here and address some of those questions.
Thank you, Mayor Ballard. I prepared a short statement just to address these questions, and I know that there has been concern over recent events, and I want the commission and the residents and the businesses to know that we hear you. Absolutely, we hear you. I assure you that Birmingham remains a safe city. In fact, I ran year-to-date statistics for serious crimes over the past 3 years, and obviously crimes fluctuate slightly. However, they have remained fairly consistent overall. Based on recent fights, one statistic that I wanted to bring to light are assaults. And this year, they're up slightly year-to-date as of Saturday when I ran the numbers. This year, there's 47. Last year, there was 41. And in 2024, there was 45 year-to-date in that same range. Our calls for service increased last year, mostly due to changes in how we record proactive policing and crime prevention measures. Our response times are not deteriorating. The last 3 years, in fact, have remained within 30 seconds of each other, and in a year-to-date comparison have actually decreased this year. To be clear, police work is dynamic. We continually evaluate and deploy our resources to meet the community's needs, and due to the crowds and recent events, we have increased foot and bicycle patrols on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings to bolster our presence downtown. Also, intelligence and analysis in law enforcement have greatly improved. When we see a pattern developing of problematic behaviors at specific locations, we proactively reach out to those businesses to address concerns. We've already done so with Shift and Sidecar and already Zana as of this weekend. We've worked with the fire department to ensure regular visits are made to prevent overcrowding. And additionally, officers on patrol are well aware of these potential problem areas and address them to deter negative behaviors. Thank you.
Thank you. While we are all justifiably concerned about feeling safe downtown, there was a commentary that went out in an email blast this week from Commissioner Host, and that went a few steps further, and I want to address that. Commissioner Host, or his brain trust, as he refers to his political advisors, took several unrelated and unfortunate events and tried to weave them into a single narrative, that Birmingham is becoming unsafe because of the commercialization of our neighborhoods and downtown. From there, it moved to a familiar list of grievances about restaurants and bars, special events, density, zoning, and development. That has caused some to write to us in agreement and caused others to express concerns about fear-mongering. Problems at short-term rentals in residential neighborhoods, an out-of-control pool party, and late-night altercations downtown involve very different locations, different activities, different regulatory issues, and different solutions. We can and will impose sensible restrictions on short-term rentals without concluding that a successful downtown is somehow responsible for problems in residential neighborhoods. We can and will address problems associated with a particular business or late-night activity without indicting restaurants, special events, downtown development, or the entire concept of a vibrant commercial district. Conflating these subjects may be rhetorically and politically useful. Unfortunately, it's not particularly useful for making public policy. It is also fundamentally backward to portray Birmingham's popularity as a problem. Our downtown is an asset, not a liability. People come to Birmingham, businesses invest here, and employers locate here because people want to be here. Our vitality supports local businesses, strengthens the tax base, and contributes enormously to the desirability of our community. And yes, successful downtown requires management, parking, traffic, restaurants and liquor licenses, police resources. But managing success is very different from treating success as the problem. Among the most disturbing statements I heard from Commissioner Host is the suggestion that Birmingham must somehow recapture the safety that once attracted people here. That is an extraordinarily irresponsible characterization of this community. We should be very careful about telling residents, prospective residents, businesses, and the wider region that Birmingham has become unsafe. It has not, as the chief's report indicated. In a recent scientific survey commissioned by this commission and soon to be released, indicates that roughly 95% of residents feel safe in Birmingham. The number one reason for feeling unsafe is speeding and reckless driving. And yes, downtown at night and on weekends was also cited. We need to address anything that makes residents feel unsafe. I should also add that the survey gave police and fire and EMS strong marks for service, with a common request being greater police presence in both neighborhoods and downtown, which you will be seeing. Will more unfortunate incidents occur? Almost surely. Are we doing our best to prevent them? Absolutely. Do statistics indicate any dramatic increases in the kinds of incidents that would demonstrate that our community is unsafe? No. Perception matters. If we care about protecting our homes and property values, as I think we all do, we should recognize that repeatedly broadcasting a narrative that Birmingham is dangerous or overwhelmed by disorder can itself undermine confidence in the community and its desirability. We need to solve problems, not exploit them. Commercialization has long been used as a catch-all objection to change. These recent incidents are, regrettably, powerful fuel to revive that argument. There is and always will be a constituency that would prefer fewer visitors, fewer restaurants, fewer events, less development, less density, and ultimately a quieter and less active Birmingham. But we should debate Birmingham's future and how we're maturing and where we should be headed based on facts. Public safety is our top priority. Later on tonight's agenda, we'll be setting a public hearing on our move to prohibit short-term rentals. And as you heard, the police department has already increased patrols downtown. The city commission has also agreed to discuss adding resources to the police department and other ways to quiet things down on weekend nights. Birmingham does not face a choice between being vibrant or being safe. A well-managed city can be both, and we can and will be both. Let's move on. We have appointments to the Advisory Parking Committee. Mr. Brian Haynes. Are you here, Mr. Haynes? Come on down.
Good evening, Commission, Mayor, thank you. Happy birthday, Brad.
Tell us about your interest in the parking committee.
Parking committee, yes. I own the residence at 287 Ravine Road. And although we have permit parking there, I do use our parking weekly, probably 5 times a week. I'm very familiar with the Park mobile app. And I also hold a real estate license here and have buyers and sellers. So I really look at parking kind of as a value asset and how it affects businesses, residents, the value, the vitality, as you said, and the development. So it does have an effect on that, and it's a very interesting thing to me, and I look at that at any city we're going into. Furthermore, I've stood in front of this board before and talked about my hospitality background and career. I have probably done numerous dozens of valet contracts and worked with cities before. I've opened hotels in over 25 cities where we're consistently communicating with the commission, valet parking structures to make sure that there's plenty of parking and the residents have parking. And so I've been in multitudes of situations where we're dealing with parking. So those kind of factors all kind of made me think this could be a good place for me to fill a vacant seat and help out where I could.
Great. When you talk about hospitality, and is it mostly valet, or are you also in other aspects of hospitality?
No, it's mostly development, construction development, hotels, concepts, large brands.
Anything locally?
Yeah, Ann Arbor, graduate hotels. We also did one at State College as well here, but mostly nationally. Large hotel groups,
Okay.
which we dealt with a lot
I've stayed
of valet, a lot of
I've
parking.
stayed at several graduates, one
Yes,
in Columbus.
yeah.
And
Yep, Columbus.
Yeah.
Every one of those I've built and was part of, so, yeah.
Any other questions from the commission?
Mayor,
Certainly.
I'd like to appoint Brian Haynes to the Advisory Parking Committee as a regular member, a retail representative, or a resident, retail representative to serve a 3-year term expiring.
Let's discuss that, because I don't think he's a retailer.
Okay.
We have
We'll go for
openings
the
for a
resident.
retail, a resident, a member who owns property, owns a business, or works in the parking assessment district, or you probably don't want to be an alternate. Those are the 3 positions. Which one do you believe you are best suited?
Well, I own a residence here, so I thought that would be the,
Okay,
The resident shopper?
Sure.
resident shop.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, to appoint Brian Haynes to the Advisory Parking Committee as a regular member, a resident shopper, to serve the remainder of a 3-year term expiring September 1st, 2028.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Congratulations. Stick around. We're going to swear you in. Next up, we have an appointment to the Parks and Recreation Board. Mr. Joseph, are you here, Mr. Joseph? Come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. Happy birthday. I've been a resident of Birmingham for almost 10 years now, I believe. Time flies. I live on Pierce, so not too far away. I always walk downtown and I enjoy the parks, and the closest park to me is Barnum, but I also not far away is Shane, and Booth is a little bit further, so I use them all. And when my kids were younger, 10 years ago, obviously we were using the parks, but now they outgrow it. So I see other people do it. I join the movies in the park when they have them in the summertime. And the reason I'm doing this is because I feel, well, first of all, I like to give back to the community. I think it's a really important part of my upbringing and my background and how I like to help the community. And being a resident, I feel it's really important to keep the parks clean and safe, and making sure that it reaches as many people as possible, whether they are residents or non-residents. A lot of people, we mentioned earlier, they come into Birmingham from different areas for dining or for movies or whatever, but they actually sometimes come for the parks and other, entertainment things. So I would be honored to be part of this committee and look forward to serving.
Thank you. Mr. Joseph, you are a trustee for the Birmingham Public Schools, is that correct?
Yes, sir, this is my last year.
Oh, okay. And I think we've already discussed there's no conflict between those two positions. When does it occurs to me, the board meetings, when are the meetings of the Parks and Rec Board? When are the meetings? We don't want you to not be able to attend one meeting because you're obligated to attend another. Have you looked into when the Parks and Rec Board meets?
No, sir.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Host.
Mr. Joseph, didn't you attempt to get on another board while you were a trustee of the school district?
That was earlier in my tenure, yes.
Yes. This is a similar situation. I truly feel it's a conflict, but maybe our attorney wants to weigh in.
It is not a conflict. I don't think that these are two separate entities, two separate boards, serving two separate purposes. He does not have a fiscal interest. He doesn't have a personal interest. He doesn't have an ownership interest, pecuniary interest. Therefore, I don't see any conflict of interest.
Yeah, but
That said,
he appeared in front of us before, and it was agreed that it was.
what was that for? Do you recall?
No, I don't know. I forget.
I'm concerned. I'm slightly concerned by this, whether it's an actual conflict or not. My concern is that you haven't expressed what skills you plan to bring, what point of view, what value add you're going to bring to the Parks and Rec Board. I respect that you're a resident who wants to give back,
Right.
and that board has coming up a lot of work to do with regard to updating the Parks Master Plan. So that's my concern.
Just to tack on it, I also, from my point of view, to be blunt, I was surprised to see how limited the information you provided on your application was. If you really want to do it, I would have expected to see much more what we normally see, which is a page and a half of information of benefits you'll bring to the community and to the board itself, and didn't see that at all in the application.
Commissioner Haig.
Yeah, I mean, you're sort of hearing, I remember you applying previously as well. I don't remember what the board was either, but I do remember you. But I'm getting the impression you're just kind of bounce from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and there's no focus in it. And I don't get it. I mean, I'm sorry. I know you and I have spoken outside of here a few times on various things, but I don't get where the focus is. I'm missing something somewhere. The dots aren't connecting for me either.
Okay.
And kind of to his point, reason for interest, explain how your background and skills will enhance the board to which you've applied, serving the city and community. That's all you wrote. The dots get further apart. You see what I mean?
I understand, sir.
Feel free to respond.
Whenever it's my turn, I respect your input first.
Well, I think you've gotten three or four of us say roughly the same thing, so I will give you the opportunity to respond.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, first of all, a few years ago, I did I wanted to become on another committee. I believe it was the...
Housing Board of Appeals in 2020.
Yeah, I was a member of that, but that was before I was elected. But I wanted to be a member of another one. I think it was the Development Committee, if I remember. And I was early on in my tenure and honestly, at the time, I didn't think there was a problem because being a part of the committee, and I see that as the same thing now, the only difference is I'm not running for re-election. My term expires in December, and I feel that this is the right time for me to come back to the city of Birmingham, not necessarily hopping because I've always wanted to, so I took the time off to serve this, the school board. As far as maybe it ages me a little bit, but the last time I applied, it was a piece of paper, so this time it was online. I was a bit confused, and that's my fault. I take blame on it. But really, I have an extensive background in business. I'm an accountant by trade. I deal with a lot of businesses, including non-for-profits. As a matter of fact, I used to be a CFO of a major non-for-profit. And I feel that having that background and being involved in the community through the education portion, I would like to bring it up to the city portion, if you allow me to, and bring that expertise that I've held for 6 years, very honorably so. And being a resident for almost 10 years, I've been through bonding experience. I've been through many, interesting public events, that target the education board. So I'm ready and prepared to, if something happens like the millage or whatever it takes, improving the parks. And that's really the reason I want to do, you're probably wondering why I'm doing the parks. It's not about hopping. It's about, I could have picked anybody else, any of the other communities, or waited for a committee, another committee that would maybe fit me better, I guess. But I felt that Parks and Recreation is open to everybody, statewide. Obviously not, somebody from Traverse City is not going to come and visit us, but technically they could. But this is the reason I want to offer the best that Birmingham has to offer from that perspective. And I would appreciate the opportunity. I think that you would have somebody who's committed and dedicated, and you would see that I would bring a lot of effort and an asset to the city and to the committee. I can promise that.
Let's bring it back, Commissioner, Temporary Mayor Pro Tem Long.
Thank you. Having served as chair of the Parks and Rec Board for most of a decade, my concern is that business experience is useful in many situations, but that strength is probably least important on the park board, where it's more about figuring out how to serve the various constituencies. So someone who is an expert in young kids, someone who can represent the differently abled community, someone who is a representative of various sports activities. So building a Parks and Rec board that has expertise in addressing the actual recreational uses, I think makes the Parks and Rec board more successful. As far as bonding and finance, the city has bond consultants and financial people and the staff person who is more involved in that end of it. I would suggest, though, that with your background in accounting and nonprofits, I would ask you to strongly consider thinking about volunteering to be on the Audit and Finance Committee at the Community House, where I think your financial and nonprofit skills would be very relevant.
Okay.
If that's something you might want to think about.
That's
info@birmingham.org.
May I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, what you said is amazing, and everybody, actually. I appreciate your input, every single one of you. And that's what I've been doing for the past 6 years, is dealing with people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different beliefs, different, I've been there when there was a reconstruction of, maybe they're not a park, but the playground of the schools, and I know, I've dealt with people who come in upset or, and maybe are not in agreement. So I've had experience doing that. But, I respect your decision, whatever it is. I respect the authority. I love this city. I would love to be involved in the city. That's really, again, I don't want you, and again, forgive me for, and I'm not trying to repeat the words, but I really don't like to be known as the hopping. So if you have a suggestion, if it's not this one, I'll take her suggestion.
She made a good suggestion.
So whatever it is, I don't want to come back here and I don't feel that, trying to serve the community is an honorable thing for me, and I take it very highly, to be honest.
Thank you. Are there any more questions for Mr. Joseph? I'll entertain a nomination if there is one. Otherwise, I think maybe take
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Long's advice.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is the Public Arts Board. Ann Ritchie, are you here?
Anne couldn't make it, but she would be willing to reschedule. We had a last-minute email from her. about
Is
that.
she not
She's a repeat, isn't she?
already on the board?
She's new.
Oh,
It is?
name sure rings a bell.
Yeah, I thought she was already on this, so maybe I mistook that as well.
Okay, well, reschedule? Okay. And finally, the Community House Foundation, Deborah Jersey. Deborah Jersey is not here. She understands how important it is to be here, was not aware that she ought to, can't make it, and has, temporarily withdrawn her until she can get here. So, yeah. Oh, and I did speak to her today and arranged a meeting with her mom and her and me to discuss.
I actually just wanted to make an observation. Are you done?
Yeah, go.
Have we proactively reached out to the other people that applied for the original position? Because there were some people that had also very respectable credential levels that, with the way that we put the nominations in, they didn't get a chance. And I feel right now that to not even ask them is not fair.
Right, and I'm not sure they saw. And to be honest, everybody was crazy busy. I was out of town. You were out of town.
I was out.
A lot of people were out of town. This thing came up. There's somebody even in the room who wants to be on the board who forgot to put in her application, so.
Could we do that? Because I would like to know from those people
Yes,
that originally
I will
wanted-
reach out.
Yes or no?
I'll also say that it's looking like we are going to ask you to increase the number on the board by 2, because we really need, everybody who's on the board right now is working, putting in hours, and has a particular focus. And there are a few gaps that we would like to fill.
Then
And
bring
so-
it back as a package.
Well,
Because
it'll be at the
clearly
next
that- well-
meeting, most likely, so.
Yeah, clearly
Yep.
there's more to handle here.
Okay. So we move on to.
No, we need to swear him in.
Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you, very good. Yeah, all these-
Pointed in the
all
wrong
these
direction.
appointments. Yes, let's swear in.
This guy.
Mr. Haynes. Mr. Haynes.
Raise your right hand and say, "I do" after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this state, and endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of Birmingham, free from partisan distinction or control, and to perform the duties of the Office of Advisory Parking Committee according to the best of my ability. Signs, imprint, and then I'll fill in the blank. Thank you so much.
Congratulations and thank you very much. Okay. And now we move to number 4, open to the public for matters not on the agenda. We welcome public comment, which will be limited to 3 minutes per person on items that do not appear anywhere else in the printed agenda. We will avoid participating in a question and answer session and won't take any action on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. If it is on the agenda, you'll have an opportunity to speak when that item comes up. So if you have something to say, come on to the microphone, state your name and the city of residence, and direct all comments to the chair.
Hi, my name is Diana Lopez Negretti. This isn't my first time speaking before the board. I live in Birmingham on Ruffner. There are a few things I'd like to talk about today. I actually saw Mr. Host yesterday at the farmer's market, and we had a conversation. I do agree with the statements you made earlier, Mayor Baller, about the safety in Birmingham, and my complaint is very similar to a complaint I had a few months ago when I came and spoke, which is the noise and the safety of it. I think that is the biggest issue that is driving what is happening in downtown Birmingham. And I know that everyone can say, oh, well, you choose to live in a city. I didn't choose to live near a highway where people are going to be speeding at 12 a.m. on a Tuesday night. I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's great. I think that is what is ruining the community. I don't think it's commercialization. I don't think it's any of these different groups that are coming in and perhaps taking advantage of short-term rentals. I've lived in major cities many times in my life, so things like that are not a surprise to me. Maybe they are to a lot of people in Birmingham, but it's really not a shock to me when things kind of go awry. I think the problems that we have in Birmingham are fairly limited. When I read the Eagle, it's like, oh, somebody's wallet was stolen. It's not that big of a deal, considering that we could have a lot bigger problems. For me, my biggest concern is the noise. It's continuing and ongoing and relentless. It does not seem to change from April until it snows, and then possibly it kind of stops. I think something more needs to be done, and that was my request last time. You know, I look around at this board, and I am still seeing it as one member short. And what I think could really happen in a thriving, growing community could have been the election of Deborah Horner, who had a background in public policy. Because as the city continues to grow, you're going to encounter more and more problems. And having someone who has that experience, I think, would have been very beneficial, because it appears that this board doesn't have that public policy experience. And that is something that I think would be really critical, because the city's not going to stop growing. There are multiple apartment buildings going up near where I live. Now, when it comes to noise and safety, that's where I feel most unsafe. Just because I've chosen to purchase a house on the other side of Woodward, does that mean I'm not allowed to cross Woodward? Because it certainly feels that way. Because cars drive really fast, they don't obey the law. The last time I was here, a woman's husband was brutally murdered because a car wasn't paying attention and hit him. And I don't think that we should continue to feel unsafe walking around our community because people are speeding and they're driving fast and they're revving their engines and things of that nature. I don't necessarily know if more police is going to solve that problem, or if it's better laws that are being implemented in terms of a lower speed limit in Birmingham, sound ordinances, like Jason Hoskins is working on a bill. He's up right now for the state Senate, as well as with Natalie Price. I don't necessarily know, because we have flock cameras and they didn't seem to stop the fight. And I don't feel comfortable with flock cameras, knowing the abuses that have stemmed from several of them throughout multiple communities. So if we want to continue the bedlam in Birmingham, whatever, I don't necessarily think that's the best storyline for me. I really think it comes down to sound, noise ordinances, and making sure that you have a robust board that has the skills needed to help a thriving city grow. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robbie Galloway. I live on Lake Park Drive. I've lived there since 2015. I have also been called Becca Galloway, and I have work experience in New Jersey, the Barrio, and Cambridge, Massachusetts. I am here on behalf of Batgirl, who wishes to remain anonymous. I guess she selected me to talk about the crime and pedophilia that she has seen, because not only do I have a personal relation to Sloppy, but I also have a lot of time on my hands. Batgirl volunteers every single night to scour the neighborhood of Birmingham for little kids running away from home. between the ages of 6 years old and 8 years old. And not only is it always the result of getting that kid into her car, but also a kind of disturbing third grade banter between her and Sloppy, who's very much so trying to impress and gain the trust of the little kid. About a year ago, Batgirl shared with me that she wasn't able to get to the kid in time. Sloppy drove that kid to an apartment in Grosse Isle. Then, while she was standing outside, could hear screams of a little kid, and then actually witnessed Sloppy throwing that bloody body into the Detroit River. I am very grateful for my presence here at the meeting. I hope that I've served Batgirl well, and I'm not misrepresenting her. And I also want to apologize to all of Birmingham here for the attention that I get from little kids in Birmingham. It's very embarrassing for me. It's very scary for me because I am not, a friend of their parents. And, it's overall, generally, all things considered, it's not a problem for me. And I hope that as one result, parents of little kids or any kid under the age of 17 will ask their kids openly, who is Batgirl? What does she do? Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, Mitch Black, 160 West Maple. In 2 weeks, we'll have been a staple of Birmingham for 30 years at Dick O'Dow's. From weddings to retirements, school reunions, and funerals, we've been a part of the fabric of Birmingham. We no longer recognize the city we've grown to love. Weekends have become increasingly busy. There have been disruptions. There seems to be a correlation between a lot of the disruptions and some of the overcrowding in certain establishments. The bistros in particular, one has an enclosed outside area that has 56 seats along with the 65 inside, and they have a rooftop as well with an ad bar that under the ordinance is not allowed. You got roughly 150 seats there, supposed 65-seat bistro. You've got another one that has 32 seats with controlled temperature in the wintertime that's also open year-round, is not closed during the October to May period the way the rest of the outside seating is required. There's an additional bistro that had been approved that doesn't even have an operating kitchen, which is against the ordinance. Health Department regulations require them to have a confined dish area that doesn't take place. The problem for me is, as an owner of a business in Birmingham, the increasing abuse of the bistros and the sizes. Also specified in the bistro ordinance that people are not allowed to be standing with alcoholic beverages in bistros. It was obvious the intent was for them to be restaurants, first and foremost, trying to improve the walkability of the community and more dining experiences for the people that are coming to town. This hasn't exactly been what's happened. We've seen some of them transferred into bars. When midnight comes and they close, you've got in excess of 100 people all looking for some place to go, and in many cases, there's no place for them to go. It's where a lot of the conflicts take place. Unfortunately, I'm sure there's more incidents that may go unreported sometimes because instances of calling the police are marked against your liquor license, and even though we feel that we personally do a good job controlling the environment, it's very difficult for us to control what goes on outside. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Black, do you know Nick Dupuy? Nick, are you here?
He's right there.
Right in front.
Oh, there you are. Let me introduce you to Nicholas Dupuy, Mitch Black. I think you guys should meet, and any concerns you have about bistros, he's the guy who enforces compliance.
Perfect. Look forward to it. Thanks for the time.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, is it possible to ask the city attorney a question?
In the midst of public comment? Is
Yes.
it about that?
It's about what Mr. Black has been talking about.
Sure, I will allow that.
Okay, do you mind explaining the criteria for a non-renewal of a SLUP? Is it a number of violations, or does a special notice have to go out? What is
I'm sorry,
the
that's
due
a question.
process?
That's a question that can be asked offline. It's not relevant directly to that, and we have people waiting. So it's a good question. It's something we all should know, but it's not appropriate to discuss that right now. Hi.
Hi, good evening, City Council. My name is Erica Lopez Negrete Smith. I'm a resident of Birmingham. We've been living here, we've moved in Birmingham in 2018 to 2021, and we moved back in 2 years ago. So we've been living in Birmingham for a while. What I noticed when we moved back to Birmingham are significant changes in pedestrian safety. My concern is that we have drag racing that occurs basically down our streets from April until it snows. My sister was the person who spoke prior to me. My concern is that I'm a runner. I like to spend time outside. We live in a neighborhood with children, and there are a lot of distracted driving, speeding down side streets to rev up to go do your little drag racing down Birmingham. I understand that this city council is powerless to change the speed limit or put a noise ordinance. But what can be done is some safety. There should be a traffic study done of the city. There should be a safety, looking at general safety, and there needs to be speed bumps in neighborhoods so people slow down and stop being distracted down our side streets where our children live and play. I'm concerned when I see a child on the bike, children on scooters. We don't want children on phones. In fact, we banned cell phones from our schools. But we want children to be outside, yet we're not providing a safe environment for them. We need speed bumps. We need signs that show your speed so people slow down. People are going too fast in our city streets. People are using their phones. If you've looked at, I drive all around. I commute to Detroit every day for my job. I would tell you, most people are on their phones 95% of the time they're operating their motor vehicle. There are things that can be done to make things safer without, I know Jason Hoskins and Natalie Price are still trying to get this bill through. Natalie Price has been extremely responsive with that, and I've also spoken with Jason Hoskins personally. However, I'm a resident and a pedestrian. We're all residents and pedestrians in the city, and something needs to be done on our side streets. We have the ability to do that. I know we cannot change the speed limit on Woodward. I know that you can't stop the noise of these mufflers and cars and all these classic cars. However, we can hear noise pollution. There's particulate matter pollution from these classic cars going down that pollute our air, our lungs, and our children's air and lungs, and something needs to be done. Like something simple as speed bumps and slow your speed signs on all of our side streets that border Woodward would create a sustainable solution to help this persistent issue that we've been dealing with as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary, and I live on Villa in Birmingham.
Mary, last name?
Barry. Mary Barry, and I live on Villa in Birmingham.
You speak a bit closer to the
sure.
microphone. You're like me, you speak quietly.
Thank you. I'd like to talk a little bit about what's been going down in downtown Birmingham. We walk all the time, constantly, and when we come into Birmingham lately, we cannot walk on the sidewalk. In the evening, we are actually being pushed into the street because the people will not move out of the way. They're congregating on the sidewalk, and yes, we have seen more of a police presence, which is great, but even though we're walking, they will not move, and so we're being forced in the street, and actually we're being bumped, and it's actually quite scary, and some of the people are using the outlets that we use to put the lights on the street for their cell phones. So I, in fact, tripped on cords that they have that they're using to charge their cell phones on the street on the way to the movies the other night. It's not only scary to have all the people there that we can't walk, but now we're tripping on cell phone wires that they have going, and it's not safe. So not only that, it's very scary. we went to the movies, and then we went to dinner, and the restaurant that's right next to the movie theater, there was someone who was doing a TikTok video up on the brick wall, putting up his middle finger while we're in the restaurant, and they're all around him chanting and screaming and yelling, and there was a huge mob, but thank goodness we did see 2 officers come on their bikes, and then they kind of like had him, start moving around, and they did dissipate, and everyone started moving away, but then as soon as they started leaving, everyone came back around, and then we had 2 large groups of kids. When we started to come out, we couldn't even come out of the restaurant because the kids were all standing right outside the restaurant. So I don't know what anyone can do about it, but something needs to be done. We should be able to safely walk on the sidewalk and not be pushed into the street where people are speeding from light to light. And then we saw a woman almost get hit by a car. She actually hit the trunk of the car with their hands because people are trying to cross, and now you're making pedestrians trying to get pushed into the street. So I'm hoping that you guys can help us with the police. I know they're trying their best, but everyone has to do something. Someone is going to get killed. It is really scary. And I'm not interested in what people are putting on TikTok or Facebook or whatever they're doing. I'm telling you my experience and what I experience on a daily basis. So I hope that helps, and I hope you guys can do something about it.
It does help. Personal experience is important.
Yeah,
So thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Let's not applaud. Okay, I'm not going to shut it down in the midst of it, but that's not appropriate. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members of Birmingham. My name is Nathan Miller. I am a resident of Troy, so I've come across the line here. I'm the president of Victor's Aviation Flight Academy. It's a flight school right here on the Birmingham-Troy border at the Troy Airport. Many people don't even know we have a Troy Airport, and on top of that, the county says that we're an executive airport of Oakland County. We know that Pontiac's a big dog in the city, but the reality is in the county, we are known as the executive the airport. As a flight academy, we obviously let people come in, and we want them to come in to fly airplanes, teach them how to fly. We're also a Cessna Pilot Center, which means we represent the Cessna brand, the American-owned Cessna brand, and we can help people buy airplanes. So my point to come up here today is just to let you all know we're doing some pretty cool stuff. We're letting people fly airplanes, and the biggest thing for this crowd is our first person who successfully went through the initial training is Mr. Greg Ertz. He is the owner of Greg Ertz Architecture right here in Birmingham. He's completed his training. He's going to buy an airplane eventually, and he's going to use that airplane to pioneer, which is part of our tagline, our mission statement, pilots, professionals, and pioneers, to expand his business, which is extremely possible for anybody here in the city of Birmingham. We're here to help. We're here to be part of the solution and make a great part of the community. We're working with the STEM school districts to implement STEM programs, and our next person who's going to graduate is going to be Miss Lauren Hengel, and she is from Berkeley High School. Very cool. We're doing cool stuff. We're trying to be part of the solution right here in our backyard. Come on out if you want to. If you know anybody who wants to fly an airplane, you got a guy. So thank you very much. Victor's Aviation.
Thank you. Thank you. No applause? Okay, final call online. If you're online and you would like to make a comment, use the raise your hand function on Zoom. If you're in the room, come on up. If not, we will move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and approved by a roll call vote. There's no separate item discussion on any of the items unless a commissioner or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered afterward. So this is the opportunity for anybody on the commission. Commissioner Haig.
H Hotel.
H Hotel. And anyone else? Commissioner Host?
E as in echo.
E as in echo. H-E. Anyone else on the commission like to remove an item?
I wanted H, but Commissioner Haig already has it. So.
Beat you to it. Well, does anyone in the public, would anyone in the public like to remove an item from the consent agenda?
With a hand up.
Someone online had their hand up? I see Algal, if that's the way it's pronounced. Algal, you might have to unmute yourself. Hello?
Is that coming? Okay. My name is Anita Gala. I'm at 927 Abbey, and I guess I'm coming down to earth a little bit. I am a senior who just loves Pembroke Park, and I come bearing a message from two young women this morning who were quite beside themselves. They have 7 children between the two families, and we see a great deal of fencing going up, big machinery being moved in, bleachers being moved in, and of course, being a resident of Birmingham for 57 years, I'm seeing incredible changes, most of which are frightening and not something I would ever choose again. But I've managed to make peace with that. But I cannot believe what's happening in the one park that has beautiful grass that children can run on and play on. We've got a soccer commissioner from, I think it was the city of Berkeley. They have soccer coaches using our facility to train young boys, and they did that in July. I don't know the full schedule, but I know it ended a short time ago. But now it seems that these tiny ones from the age of, before 2 years old to 6 or 7 before school, they just want to run and play. They don't want artificial turf. We want the grass. We want the beautiful mature trees. We want the beauty of Pembroke. And we are very much hopeful that we will work to preserve that. We shouldn't be bad copies of anybody else. We have a lot that's unique here, that is of value, of worth, and morally sound, especially for our children. And that's pretty important. And I speak for these two young women because they were just hungry for information. We don't know what's happening to the park. We don't know why. We don't know what's being taken care of or taken away from, what's being turned into perhaps concrete or some sophisticated ride. We don't really need these. These are very small children, and moms and dads, many dads, as a matter of fact. I'm there almost every day, just walking the perimeter and being blessed by the beauty of this speck of country that we've still maintained.
Well, Ms. Galloway, thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate it. We're going to move on now. We're in a section of the agenda where we are about to take an important vote. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Where were we? Removal of items from the consent agenda. I think we've removed. Can I get a motion?
Yes. I'd like to move the consent agenda as posted, excluding items E and H.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gold?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yep.
Mayor Pro Tem Wall?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Okay, item E, resolution to extend the existing master service agreement with OpenGov for a 3-year term and a flat annual amount of $37,000 and change for a total cost of $113,000 over the next 3 years. Who removed that?
Host.
Commissioner Host, you removed that?
Yeah, this,
My name is Anthony Peasley. I'm the Assistant Finance Director for the city.
Mary's on vacation, so Anthony.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, let's find out what his issue is.
Well, the question is, OpenGov Enterprises has a lot more modules than budgeting and planning. Has the city staff requested OpenGov consultants to evaluate the potential for the city to incorporate other modules than budgeting and planning to assist us for more efficiencies in the government? There's the
Yes,
question.
there has been discussion. As of now, it is not the most beneficial track. Right now, BSNA is what we use for the majority of our software. OpenGov specifically right now is just for our online budget book. It helps with the printing and the PDF version of the book, but primarily it's for just that, to give us that freedom to do the digital copy and put it out on our website and those types of things. It was an advancement from the previous spreadsheets that we were using.
I think the question, Commissioner Host, is better put to the city manager, as the city looked at OpenGov as an alternative to some of the stuff that BSNA does and its ongoing assessment of technology.
Yes, and I think that there's an ongoing committee that the city has looking at what direction we're going to go should we decide to move away from BSNA. In fact, I think Mr. Peasley and Ms. Chavez went to a conference that was all OpenGov conference, where they did discuss many of these modules to try and make sure to see whether or not that was going to be beneficial to the city.
So it is not simply financial software. OpenGov offers an array of things that would apply to different departments. You can speak very knowledgeably about what it does for us from a financial standpoint, but some of the other modules.
Ms. Bingham, do you have a comment?
Clerk's office also worked with the planning department and the building department. We are evaluating their business and building permit licensing software to see if that's going to be a feasible method forward in the future. So we are looking at all of the modules they offer, but trying to think about budgeting, planning, and implementing in a strategic manner.
Just a quick question. Are we better waiting then to sign a 3-year deal till we make that decision? Because my guess is this cost will go down quite dramatically.
We're not actively working on something that would lead to a fast decision.
We're keeping this tool
This is something
in
we
place
already
because-
committed to.
Yeah, we're keeping this tool in place because we need it right now, and we're working on building in the other tools when the time is right and the budget's right.
I suspect they would, we get volume pricing no matter when we bought it if we already were a customer.
Yeah, I mean, to the point of the budget being right, theoretically, we should be getting a discount, so the budget should be right already, and then it just gets better, but...
It's a lot more complicated than that with IT and all the moving parts of the puzzle. It's complicated, data transfers and migration, there's a lot to it.
Would someone like to make the suggested resolution?
He has to.
Commissioner Host?
I'll make the suggested resolution to extend the existing master services agreement with OpenGov for a 3-year term of a flat annual rate amount of $37,734.93 for a total contract cost of $113,204.79 over the next 3 years, and authorize the finance director to sign the order form.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Commissioner Kolb?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Okay, item H. Before we get into item H, I wanted to say two things. Number one, this is merely a resolution to set the public hearing, that we should not discuss any of the aspects of it. That would not be appropriate, since it's appropriate to have this as a public hearing. But at the same time, point out that if at that public hearing on September 28th, if the commission wishes to amend what you see here in the packet tonight, there's plenty of room, correct, for us to make those amendments at that time, at that meeting, and approve and act something different, not too substantially different, but we could make changes. With that,
Okay, so, yes, my goal was not to discuss it. You did somewhat, but my goal was not that. And yes, you are right, we do have our prerogative. We could actually change it to whatever we wanted, but there's a recommendation. However, I was pulling it simply because this has been a sensitive item for our community ever since the precipitating incident. So the only reason I wanted to pull this was to make sure that we all know about it, that everyone's aware about it, and everyone understands that we take it seriously.
Did we tell them what it is?
I beg your pardon. It's a resolution to set, well, you did, but it's a resolution to set a public hearing date of September the 28th, 2026, to consider amendments to the zoning ordinance and Birmingham Code of Ordinances with respect to short-term rentals. There's a lot more in the wording for the resolution itself, which you can all find in the abbreviated package or online, but that's the general theme. I just wanted to highlight because this has been very, very concerning and has driven a lot of the actions we've taken. The only other thing, I lost my train of thought all of a sudden. No, totally lost my train of thought there.
We'll give you leeway if it comes back to you.
Yeah, you might have to, but, oh, yes, public posting of it. If there is a way, because this is so key to our community right now, for the public posting of the public hearing, can we post that in more than the typical forums? I believe we usually use, was it Oakland Times or Oakland Press or something? Can we go to others? Because that one tends to be paywalled.
I think we've asked that question before and been told we have a very specific, but, process, and that you don't want to divert from it on one thing and then, be accused of not.
Perhaps we then grow that breadth anyway. It's just, let's look at an opportunity. Don't just always do the same thing we've done before, because we've always done it that way.
Well, I think we do sometimes on social media highlight that we have
We don't need to go into the ins and outs of it. It's
coming
just
up.
a request. If it's possible, can we try that? Look at other forums. We don't need to debate it right now. It's just a question of it's possible.
Good point.
Because it's so sensitive to our community as a whole community.
To that point, I wanted to point out process. Under the Zoning Enabling Act and our charter and ordinance, the commission does not even have to hold a public hearing to adopt the zoning ordinance as recommended by the planning board. We're recommending manager's office legal that you take the extra step. The word says may hold, so we're recommending and definitely giving that platform for the community to speak directly to the commission and for the commission to have the final say as to the actual language of the ordinance. So you guys are going one step beyond what's legally required. And yes, we will talk to the manager's office and the clerk's office to see what other ways we can get notice out, which is the whole purpose of having a public hearing.
And that was it, really. And I suspect the Mayor Pro Tem wanted to highlight this because it was such an issue as well, but
Yes,
over
I
to you.
wanted to bring visibility to the issue, and also, I think because the way that it is written, bullet points 1 through 6, being somewhat convoluted, that perhaps we could include the few sentences of what are in effect lay summary that are in the memo on July 8, that said, what ultimately what the planning board moved to do, which I think would be more useful for people who reading these bullets may not believe that it's going to do what the community hopes it's going to do. So that was my comment.
That itself was a little convoluted. I think what you're asking it for is for, in the next packet, when it comes up, for there to be a clearer summary.
I got it. Mr. Dupuis in the room. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, and he has written
The
one.
clarity's in here.
It's in there, but
just not part of the.
It's complex.
It's not
It's
clearly
just not
clear.
part of anything that's on the in the agenda
true.
portion. So
Right.
just those
Okay.
sentences.
All right, good.
Pull the bolded content.
Somebody
from
want
the
to move the suggested resolution?
So I will make the motion to,
You don't have to read it all,
I
just.
wasn't planning on reading it all because it's complex, to move item 5H from the consent agenda for approval as written in our package tonight.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Okay, we move to the city manager's report.
Yes, so we'll start with the Birmingham Public Library. They have a new online catalog. On Monday, August 17th, Baldwin unveiled its new catalog, which can be accessed at catalog.baldwinlib.org. It's a new catalog that lists all types of materials under one main title. The launch of the project reflected over a year of work and careful inspections of all the library's materials. From the Birmingham Museum, the Birmingham Museum is pleased to announce that it will be the recipient of a Partners in the Arts Award from the Cultural Council of Birmingham Bloomfield for its support of the arts. From the BSD, joined them at Booth Park for the final outdoor movie night of the season, featuring the movie Lilo and Stitch. Pre-show entertainment and giveaways begin at 6:30 p.m., and the movie starts at 7:30 p.m. From the clerk's office, the general state gubernatorial election will be held on November 3rd, 2026. The first mailing of absentee ballots is expected to go out in September. Per the clerk, she would like to make sure everyone understands that if you have an absentee ballot but wish to vote in person, remember to bring that absentee ballot to the early voting site or the polls on election day. How'd I do there, Alex? That's good.
That
All
makes
right.
it easier for us. If you have a ballot, bring it.
And finally, the clerk's office is also in the process of recruiting and training election inspectors for the November elections. Due to precinct consolidation, there is less of a demand to recruit inspectors than before. From the fire department, kudos to the Rochester Hills Fire Department. The Birmingham Fire Department would like to publicly recognize and extend its sincere appreciation to the Rochester Hills Fire Department for its continued partnership and support during the annual Dream Cruise event. And the fire department also debuted their new EMS bikes that are e-bikes. Thankfully, they were not needed for any emergencies inside the city's event space, but the fire department was busy for the rest of the day. From the Human Resources Department, we have several promotions. Wendy Abu at the Parking Department was named Parking Operations Specialist. Mark Akram from the Engineering Department was named Assistant Engineering Director. As you know, our chief, Ryan Kearney, was named Police Chief. Elizabeth Hewitt was from the DPS, was named Arena Facility Assistant. And Lisa Wayner was promoted to the rank of Sergeant in the Police Department. For those employees celebrating anniversary, I know City Manager Ecker likes to call up those with 25 years or more. Carrie Laird from the DPS, 25 years of service. She's the Parks and Recreation Manager. And Devin Durock, DPS, Parks and Recreation Assistant Foreman, has 28 years of service. We thank them very much for that. From the Planning Department, the zoning ordinance update project is expected to be discussed at the following meetings of the Planning Board: the September 23rd meeting, October 14th, and December 9th. As a reminder, the Planning Department is also offering zoning ordinance office hours to provide additional dedicated time for the public to engage in this important process. There is office hours include AM and PM options and after hours options. There's a link in the city manager's report if you're interested in doing that. And finally, from the parking system, the city's parking department is planning a deep cleaning project involving the professional power washing of the Pierce, Park, and North Old Woodward garages. And also, the city debuted a new parking department interactive reporting tool designed to increase transparency and provide convenient data access for the public in real time for parking availability in the structures. That's it.
Okay. I want to point out that the city manager, what's the word? Abbreviates, let's say.
Yeah, that's just.
The report. A much fuller report is available online. You can get it. Just search city manager's report. Does anyone on the commission have any questions for the city manager on his report?
Can I just add to what Mark has said?
Sure.
And that is Dream Cruise night. As far as I know, the worst thing that happened was a SUV missed the Park Street entrance to the garage, and there were, within a minute, 4 of our police cars and 3 from other districts, as well as 4 motorcycle police from Rochester Hills, I believe. The notion is, thank you for the concerted effort to make Dream Cruise such a nice day.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll take the compliments.
We'll take it. And we'll move on to unfinished business. There is none. New business, item A, is a resolution to approve the design-build agreement for the final design and renovations of the first floor of 400 East Lincoln, which will, we hope, be the future home of Next. This is a contract not to exceed $3.15 million. We have, who do we have?
We have, thank you, Mayor and Commissioner. We have the representatives from DMC Consultants, Inc. The city put out an RFP for a design-build contractor for the project at the YMCA, a former YMCA building at 400 East Lincoln, which is going to be our new home for Next, for the renovation of the first floor. The city conducted a walkthrough with potential builders, designers and builders. There was 10 or 11 or 12 at that walkthrough. 4 businesses did submit bids to the city for recommendation. There was an internal committee that we had amongst city staff, as well as, I don't know how many are familiar with Don Rogers. He was on our SCC board. He's a former commercial builder for a large construction company. His experience and insight is invaluable to helping us choose which company we thought was best. After looking at the bid packages, we narrowed it down to 2 companies from the 4. We then held meetings with both of those companies, with Mr. Rogers present, questioned them, talked about the bids and so forth, and unanimously came away from that meeting recommending DMC Consultants here tonight. This is Yash from DMC, and he's going to walk you through a brief PowerPoint and then have the ability for the commission to ask him questions.
A brief PowerPoint, right?
Yep, brief.
Operative word is brief.
Brief, yes.
First off, good evening and thank you everyone for joining us, and a very special happy birthday to Mr. Host. Again, my name is Yash Chaudhry. I'm one of the senior project managers and one of the PEs, professional engineers in the team at DMC Group. I have with me our design partner, 4545 Architecture, Tim Flintoff, and we're just going to walk you through a little bit about what we're here to present. Or should I just say next for the next slide?
You can drive on the computer up here if you want.
Oh.
So you can use this mouse and you can drive.
Oh.
And you have a microphone.
There's a mic.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Lots of options for you guys to present.
I can do that for you. You want to talk from there?
Yeah, sure. As long as I can see the slides.
Really good.
Sorry, we'll wait for you.
All right. Once again, this is for the Senior Rec Center, and I want to give a quick intro to our company. We were founded in 2005. We're a Detroit headquartered business, and we've been in the Metro Detroit area for over 20 years now. And we do a combination of commercial construction, general construction, residential, and then we do a lot on community-based projects, with our thesis being that we like to work on whether it's affordable housing or community rec centers or community parks. We work on those types of projects working with a core team of engineers and project managers. Our core values, as you can see over there, was just, it's all good, care.
All good. I think this is a little bit.
No worries,
Move
no worries.
along.
A little bit of history and growth on the company, which you can always access if you need to. We just completed 20 years last year, and thankfully we were ranked as one of the fastest growing companies in the city as of this month. Methodology, as I mentioned before, we're a team of experienced professionals with experience in commercial and residential construction, and we like to have involvement from the planning stages all the way till the closeout stage of a project. Just over here gives a bit of our relevant portfolio that we presented during the meeting last week. These are different projects that we had done, most notably being a design-build senior center within the city of Detroit. We were working that just is finished up in August 2026. Similar sort of concept. The notable thing about all 3 of these buildings is that they were all over anywhere ranging from 40 to 70 years old, and so we kind of came in and either hired the architect and or worked with the architect to be able to assess these buildings and be able to bring them to completion in a timely manner and within budget, similar to what's going to be the goal for this project as well. Just some branding for all those recently completed projects. Again, you guys can check this out whenever you need to and get the deck from them. Lastly, I just wanted to go ahead and present some of the team structure before getting into the team. One of the purposes of going in a design-build route is that you pass some of the liability of risk over to the design-build entity, which in this case would serve as DMC Group. We're the ones who hire the architect. We're the ones who hire the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, and any prospective consultants. And we work alongside our client, which is the city of Birmingham, and the tenant, the future tenant, which is Next, to be able to deliver your project. This just gives a little bit of the organization that we have within our team and how we will set that up. Quick, I won't even read all these summaries, but just gives a little bit of background into our team. Again, I'm a PE. We have a team that consists of a variety of different civil engineers and PMP professionals and superintendents who've worked within the municipal and commercial sector within the Metro Detroit area. And Tim, if you want to speak.
Sure. And I'm Tim Flintoff with 4545 Architecture. I founded the company about 10 years ago. We focus a lot on missing middle, small community-based projects. So we've done several community centers, nonprofit dentists, clinics. We do a lot of affordable housing and small infill housing. And we've worked on many projects with the DMC Group over the last 3 or 4 years. And we think, we work well together as a team, so that's why we're asked to be part of their team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some consultants that I brought along, Matrix Consulting Group, which was ETS Engineering out of Royal Oak, who's done quite a few of the restaurants in this area. And then also J-Red Engineering, who is a longtime mechanical engineer, will be providing the assessment on the building and doing the mechanical engineering for it. And then I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, this is the last slide. It gives a little bit of a milestone schedule. Some of this was identified within the RFP, but this is what we submitted in our submission into the for this project. Kind of just gives some milestone dates that we're aiming for the project. And this concludes our presentation for the rec center.
So for the record, the price came in at $3.15 million was the bid, and it also contained a contingency in that bid of $200,000. So well within the price range the city was hoping to get based on the amount of money we have in the senior millage.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, would you like to come up and tell us your level of confidence in this project, and also accept our gratitude? It's fine. And also accept our gratitude for how much you've contributed.
I am a resident of Birmingham, about 10 years, 2409 Buckingham Avenue. I was serving on the Senior Rec Center Ad Hoc Committee, and so this is just a continuation of that. When Jana was talking and Mark was talking about the renovating the first floor of the building, we kicked around ideas on what would be the most appropriate delivery method. And that's why we came up with the design build. I did work with Jana in perusing the language in the RFP and how it was structured so that we would get the information from the proposal, different firms. DMC, there was another firm that we shortlisted. We interviewed them both very qualified firms. I will say that. But I think, as Jas shared, their experience in renovating older facilities was key. The other firm had done some renovations, but there were more new builds. And this is a different animal. And I was particularly impressed with DMC's approach They're in particular on the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection. Those are the portions of the design. There were bridging documents. Bridging documents are like about maybe 50% of the design. It's the design intent, and that was primarily focused on the architectural. Okay, but the mechanical and electrical, it really required the design builder to kind of fill in the blanks, put a number to it to come up with their 3.15 million number. And I really, as we did the interview with them the other day, I was very concerned with what process they went through, and I was able to talk to their electrical engineer, mechanical engineer. I wanted to know what equipment they have figured based on the IMEG report, what they felt we'd have to replace, because I wanted to be confident that budget they're proposing isn't just pie in the sky, that they thought this through, and we got into their estimate, and we looked at it. And so I got a comfort level that, construction is a very messy process, and this is an old building. We're going to run into things. But I felt that these guys, their approach was very thorough. Their work plan of all firms was phenomenal. So I really feel like Yash and his team have put a lot of time and effort in planning this out and to deliver it. And so I'm really confident that they have a really good handle on it. They're ready to hit the ground, and they've got a good team together. So I feel comfortable.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Questions from the commission? Commissioner Haig.
They're really random.
It's okay.
First of all, I was happy to see a Gantt chart.
A what?
Gantt chart.
Oh.
20-year PMP.
Oh.
Question in the Gantt, though. So, just because I got it in front of me, I'm going to test your memory a little bit, so I'll give you the detail. Structure and building envelope repairs and MEP underground and concealed roughing, items 38, 39. You show January 11th through February 19th cumulatively. Do you have any concerns with those because of the timing of the year? Because when we start going external and underground, that's pretty cold. You got any worries, or?
Not in a renovation situation, no.
No, even if you find out, because I noticed you talking in some places about destructive investigation, which you have to do. That has a repair requirement.
Yeah.
So I just want to get your feeling on this.
Conditions are acceptable in that situation. We'll be able to handle it.
All right.
And we temporarily heat the building, even if we're going to be doing destructive demo. We keep the building operating at a heated temperature, because even when people are working inside, they have to be.
Oh yeah, it's going to be comfortable working.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was one. Randomly going backwards and forwards, and this may not be for you, it may actually be for everybody else. Is Newman Smith completely out now with all of the pre-work they did? There's no using them for background or additional.
That's correct. Their contract is complete.
All right.
They're no longer the engineer of record. Because it's design build, his team will be engineer of record.
That's fine. I just wanted to see, because I know they did an awful
From a
lot of
risk
work,
standpoint.
and it was
Yeah.
But
extremely
knowing
beneficial.
Mr. Stock, if he's already indicated, if there's questions or something, he'd be more than happy to talk to. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it was an investment, it's a leg up for us to continue on. It's not.
Yeah, it was actually a great.
Yeah, I figured. I just wanted to ask.
Yep.
Now, inside your, and again, to Mr. Rogers' point about the detail in here, and the PMP inside me. So your project initiation and validation, I was going down through some of the criteria in here. One thing that I didn't see was a change control process.
Yes, I know.
You only talk about change control as far as when it goes to an approval of a change, rather than what the process would be. So I think this is not just a question for you, but it's also for the city, and maybe you can help out as well. What's our process that we're looking at here? So we have submissions, approvals, deviations written, contract amendment, approval to proceed. How does that work?
Well, I don't know, Mark, that's probably more for you from a project management owner rep.
Yeah, I'm assuming we know that there's going to be things that are, like Don said, that it's an old building.
Hence I'm asking, yeah.
So obviously, they would bring it to our attention. It would be brought, everything has to go through City Manager Ecker. She would then take that information. If it's relatively minor, we'll probably move on with her blessing. If it's going to be a costly event, it obviously would have to come probably back to the commission, depending on how big the monetary is. Obviously, when they give us what it is, we'll run it by Mr. Rogers, we'll look at it internally. We have our own building staff as well, Mike Morad, Jeff Zilkier. So we have a little mini team that we're going to look at that's going to advise her based on what they find.
Where I was kind of going with that is, and it's not necessarily to do anything with this project or hold this project up or what have you. It's more a question now, based off your answer. Should we have a process whereby we have a formal change management process? Everywhere I've worked inside a project, there was a change management process with a change control board, a formal notification, detail. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It'll be different in construction to where I come from. I'm about to go through a construction where I'll have that, but just as a methodology for the city for the future, we will find it beneficial as a city, I believe, and I think you can speak from it, probably from your side as well. You'd prefer to have that formal system rather than an informal, yeah, sure, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, often we have to end up creating the system for our clients sometimes if they need assistance on it, but we would definitely love that.
So that's just a generality. Then, what was my next one? Gantt.
And I think I can work with Yash and his team and Don to come up with a methodology that
I can, maybe I can find something from what I'm using right now, because I've got a couple of formats that we're using that, are they the best? No, but it's just a documentation system, methodology and a mindset. Well, that was a change order one as well.
Andrew, if I might add, we did have that discussion in our interview. What is a scope change?
Yeah.
For purposes of managing, there's going to be nickel and dime things that are going to occur on hidden conditions and such. But a scope change, as Yash, I don't know if you want to share, but it's basically, are we adding square footage? We're focused on the first floor. Do we want to go beyond those areas? That would be a scope change. Or we're adding 2 ADA compliant toilet rooms. If we want to add another one or something, that would be a scope change, okay? So I wanted to have the parameters understood, or a quality level. If we increase the quality level from what Newman might have specified, that would be a scope change, okay? Could add to that 3.15 number as a GMAX or GMP.
So within that, you've actually kind of led into one of my next, I was flicking back and forth to the correct page here. So if we go through a change process, there is a scope change, or be it a requested scope change or a discovered scope change.
Yeah.
What's the funding methodology for that? Because if I create an example, to use one of your examples, you say, oh, we had 2 ADA, but we want 3. If that's requested by Next, for instance, how is that funding mechanism put together? Because that's outside of the scope of the original project, the funds that were put in for the original project, the budget for the original project, and it's in that particular example, that's then a tenant-specific request. How do we manage that within change control and funding control? Because it's not a blank check. It's not a tenant wants this. How do we do that?
Well, I'm sorry.
So I was just looking at him, sorry, Mark.
Yeah, it's okay. My project, I don't want to put him on the spot. It's the city's building. So any change in scope, anything to do with scope, comes through the city. So Next can request something, but then that request would then filter through the city and follow the changes that I've already indicated in terms of how we would handle that.
All right, and that includes funding sources, et cetera.
Correct.
Okay, that was what I was looking for on clarification.
And if I may also add on, that's one of the things I mentioned during the interview, that us as the design builder, the biggest help is having an entity, like you had mentioned, like one single point of contact who makes the decisions on behalf of the tenant, because sometimes the tenant may want something, but ultimately we're contracted to you guys. So I think it would be Jana who would be the final decision maker there.
The last one is maybe just an observation. George was kind enough to call me earlier today and give me some heads up on a couple of points. I believe that you actually, George, correct me if I say it wrong, but I believe you also noted a couple of the air handling units, they were done, and you've put them inside your bid as well, which was almost like outside of what was requested, but you knew it was a failure that was going to happen. Greatly appreciate that kind of proactivity.
Yeah, so just to add on to that, yeah, like we looked at the assessment overall, and we looked at the scope of work that we were going to be, performing within like the first floor. And I mean, just having done a lot of these older buildings, we kind of already know what's to be expected. So obviously we're going to be going through the design process. We had our consultants on the call, and we'll be discovering things as we go, but we wanted to make sure that we at least, I mean, if you do this many buildings, you want to make sure that you've got yourself covered, even for some things that you don't directly see.
Find it, bring it to us, let us know. Thank you for at least those ones so far. I'm good for now.
Yes.
Good evening. So one question I had is, you're calling the Newman-Smith documents bridging documents, but I want to understand that it's our intention to maintain as much as is possible fidelity to the floor plan that has been developed.
Correct. Actually, that would be most preferred by us.
Okay, and I'm sure by next, so thank you. So yeah, I'm not looking for wholesale changes as we go through. I had another question about, it's partially been answered, is who is acting as the owner's agent at the city? And you're saying it's going to be a committee that involves?
Well, Jana will act as the single point of contact, but we have internally formed with Mr. Don has volunteered his time, Jeff Zilke, Mike Morad, Andrew Erickson, myself, so that if in fact whatever is uncovered, we can discuss it as a group, make a recommendation, and then depending on what it is and the dollar value, decide what the best course of
And
action
I know,
is.
Mr. Rogers, you have vast construction management experience, so
yes,
thank you. We deeply appreciate your volunteerism. I had another question about performance metrics. How there is not a huge penalty for non-performance in this agreement. There's a line about to the extent that we can. But so how confident are you in the timeline of getting next in by May 2027?
Well, we talked about it for some time. We feel pretty confident. I think in these types of projects, what definitely helps us is having a meeting with the building department very early on, so that we can kind of give them some expectations, like, look, like we're working on this design build project. We're going to be submitting, for permit around this time. This is what we're aiming to submit for. If we can get some assistance during the permit review, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to do a preliminary review with you before we even submit. And then, based off of our schedule and based off of the scope that we have at hand, we feel pretty confident that if we can get into there, and the schedule indicates we're doing some exploratory work within the first, couple months, going from Halloween into December. But as long as we can get in for construction in January, we feel pretty confident with the square footage of the project that we can get done with next. But it will be a collaborative effort on the building department side, and we'll be constantly in communication if we feel anything.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the key, is if it's not, some municipalities, it could be a 3-month review process for permitting, understanding early on the time frame, the expectations for permitting, and, any sort of pitfalls that they typically see in a project that we can address early and have conversations through. That'll just expedite the process. So.
And Mr. Zilke was part of our committee and has expressed his support that he will make sure that everything from the building department is done in a timely fashion to assist DMC.
And then my last question you sort of led into is, it seems that the only other big variable is what on pages 421 and 424, you're calling existing conditions validation. Mm-hmm. So this is a GMP, but it's you want to address that, Mr. Rogers, a soft GMP?
Yeah, so So we have, yes, it's a soft GMP, and the reason I call it that is that they're going to go through, do that investigation. They have done some investigation, reviewing the IMEG report. That's how they assess, let's figure we're going to replace some air handling units. But they will be, as they go through design, and they'll be costing it along the way, we're going to reach a point where we are going to complete the design, and they will price that out. They will get bids from specialty subcontractors. They've all assured us that they will break the job down into the various bid packages so that we get a lot of competition for that trade work. We're going to benefit, the city's going to benefit from that competitive process. After the work is bid out, we really have it all nailed down, then we're going to really get to, we might see, okay, we bid this thing out, and we have, at time of buyout, we haven't even dipped into that 200,000. We maybe built up a little contingency. Okay, we're going to keep that 3.15 as a guaranteed max price. We're trying to, it's going to be all open book. This is an open book process, and any savings at the end of the day, when the project is complete, any unused contingency in this contract form and this delivery method would return to the city. That's the benefit of this process. You get the best, you get the benefit of that really open transparency, the competitive bid process, their expertise in managing the process, and then at the end of the day, any savings.
Thank you.
I have a question. So this is all about the first floor, but you talk about, for example, replacing an air handler. Does that air handler handle air for the second floor? And so that it's just, that's not the real question. That's just part of the question. The question is like, I know your project is confined to the first floor, but there's got to be things that impact up and down, and and to what extent can you just address that a little bit, and also whether some of the work you're going to be doing is going to be shutting off that and separating it so that if when we do open the upstairs, do we need to do something? Are you going to make it either easier or harder to make that happen? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Our intention wouldn't be to make it harder. We would either be replacing it and connecting back into the same system at that same termination point that we removed it from, or we would be identifying where something maybe further needs to be added. But we would be evaluating with the team what's the most cost-effective approach for that. We wouldn't necessarily want to leave you in a situation where you have something worse when you're done. We would always make sure that it's at least equal to or a better situation.
Yeah, and adding on, like in that specific example, when we go in and we open everything up, that's what I was calling the existing conditions assessment and like preliminarily in the project. I mean, we're going to make like rational decisions on like if we're going to have an air handler that can service, if it's got a certain capacity and it can service a little bit more of an area, and we can be like, okay, guys, like if we do a 40-ton, that's only for the first floor, but we can do like 42-ton and 45-ton or whatnot. I'm just making up numbers right now, and it can service like the mezzanine level or like the second floor as well. We'll bring it up to you and be like, we think this is a good thing for you guys. Why, if you're going to be doing this in the future, at least mechanically, that ventilation-wise you're covered. Maybe in the future you may have like some other needs and renovation work you need to do, but at least while you're already performing surgery on the building, you may as well get multiple areas knocked off. And so when the mechanical consultant comes in and when they do their load calculations on the different areas, we'll be taking that into effect as well.
So can I ask a question, kind of piggybacking on yours?
Yeah.
So when the design is done, as you're going out for bids, will we have an opportunity to review it again before we say go, or is it just design and go?
Yeah.
I think that was, Mark, to your point of the scale of a change or a scale of an impact. If it's a $5,000 change, we're probably going to sit there and go, okay, we'll go through the practicalities, yes, move on. If it's a $50,000 change, what's the effect of the change where does the budget for it come from? That was where I was going with when we have change requests, how the authorization process is, the scope of the change and the impact of it. That's all contained in a request. Then obviously, we've got to set thresholds of numbers, but we can do that separately.
We did talk about this at great length in the meeting, and I think we will kind of go to the finance director, and the typical city policy is $75,000 or more has to get commission approval. So there's a number right there that we can use. It's a little high probably for this project, probably bringing that down a little bit, but we did discuss it. So, and I'm very comfortable that if in fact a change order or a scope change occurs, we'll bring it to the commission.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that, like Mr. Rogers had mentioned before, keep in mind that like part of the budget that we gave in had a contingency that was inside the budget. So in effectively, at a project level, we'll be discussing a lot of things as a project team level within that contingency. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only point that it becomes like a greater level is if we're starting to see that we're going to exceed and use up the contingency, which when we priced out the job, our full intent is to be able to stay within the contingency within the overall agreement value. The only way that, anything would change is, like you mentioned, if there's a significant scope change that, if there's a decision to do like exterior landscaping or something, which wasn't the intent of this RFP, then we can have that discussion.
That is also a very helpful point, that the contract language involves the RFP and the response. So everything that's been guaranteed in their response is part of our agreement and our contract with them. They are responsible for subcontractors and making sure subcontractors are performing timely. Otherwise, that goes directly to breach of their agreement with us. So they hold the subcontractors' feet to the fire. We hold theirs.
So I have another question, and then I'd like to get a motion, and then we can take public comment on the motion. But my question is, you've said that Jen is going to be the single point of contact. A project like this, somebody's got to own it at the city. And by telling me that, you're telling me Jen owns it. Or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd really like to know who's backing her up. Are you owning this? Like, going forward, or are you out? And if not, is it you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'll 100% own it.
Okay.
I intend to follow this right through to the day we walk in that building.
That's perfect. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Somebody
we will
owns
be
it.
very good friends by the end of this project, trust me.
We already are.
I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution to approve a design-build agreement with DMC Consultants Incorporated for the final design and renovation of the first floor of 400 East Lincoln to house Next Senior Services in an amount not to exceed $3,150,000. In addition, to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Funding for this project has been budgeted in account number 233.0-673.000-811.000.
Okay. Second? Did I hear a second
Oh,
from
no,
Commissioner Rose?
you missed the fourth zero.
Zero.
Oh, now you can say so.
No.
Second.
All right. I assume all the comments and questions from the commission, can we move? Is it okay if we move to public comment? Or does?
Are we going to have commissioner comments on the motion?
That's what we've been doing for a while, but yeah, I don't want to take the prerogative away, but I do want to hear from the public because I know they've been patient.
So do I, but I'd like to speak if it's all right.
Sure.
Okay. I have no problem with DMC contractors, but I'll be voting no for two reasons. First, I can't approve the plans that are being brought, asking us to follow. The Birmingham taxpayers, whom elected me to represent them, own this building. And as such, I wanted to point out, I have pointed out several times that the renovation does not have an ADA elevator. The building is not compliant, and this first floor, that's all we've been talking about is the first floor, does not include an elevator that will go to the lower level or the second floor. the point would be that 2/3 of the building is unusable with this resolution. It's an insult, I believe, to our taxpayers who own this building to push off consideration of something so basic that in the design to a later phase or a later date. Secondly, by moving forward now that the taxpayers of Birmingham, whom we all represent, own the community house, we are missing an opportunity to maximize the highest and best use of two very different real estate assets. Repurposing a recreational facility to accommodate a social services organization when we own an ideally located and designed social services building in the community house makes no fiscal or functional sense. For these reasons, I'm voting against it.
Thank you. We'll keep it with the commission. Other comments? Commissioner Haig?
So I checked on, so again, Mr. Dilgard, had a very helpful conversation with him. Also looking at the plans, and you confirmed it. Fundamentally, we're not changing what was designed and laid out by Newman Smith. So it's not like we're doing things like taking the gym, putting a wall down the middle and calling it, I don't know, a greenhouse. It's still keeping the fundamental layout. But I think it's naive of everybody to assume that this isn't, the circumstances are not going to change. We have 2/3 of the building, 1/3 is under construction. We're going to actually end up needing to change it again. The use of the part of the building for next is going to have to change. If anybody thinks that what's being done is set in stone, will never change again, you're naive. Sorry. It may sound rude, but you are. It will change because the community would like to see it change. So the reason I say that, you referenced the community survey. There were over 1,000 written comments, and in the 1,000 written comments, there was only one comment that was positive sentiment towards 400 East Lincoln, YMCA, or Next. And it was 3 things I like about Birmingham, and Next was number 3. One positive sentiment out of that many, 0.1%. There were 20 negative sentiments written on the exact same items. You got to remember the people that answered the survey, almost 20% of them were 65 and older. We have net negative sentiment on the community house. 10 negative, 2 positive. That went as blunt as stop buying buildings. So where I'm going with this is the surprises that some people have is this is not universally wanted. People actually want the community centre. Now, I'm going to support these renovations, but I think everybody has to go into it eyes wide open. The criteria are going to change after the event. The use of the building will change. Next, you're going to have to be flexible. Simple as that. You may end up having to use facilities in a different building so that the community can have what they want, because in those comments it actually says we want a community centre. So I'm going to go for it because it's not like we're taking away from what exists, but it's not going to stay with what we're building right now. It's going to change. Just go into that with that realization, because if you don't, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. But right now, community sentiment is 20-1 against buying more buildings. And that's with a 95% confidence. The number of respondents we had was actually sufficient for a 300,000 person sample size, not 21,000, which gave us a higher than standard deviation for error. So we're at 3.2%, the standard is 3.6. So the accuracy of 95% sentiment is 20-1 against. Think about it. We're going to do it, but don't assume it's never changing. That's my message.
Thank you. Mr. Cole?
Question mark, probably for you. To Brad's point, to some extent, is this the best way we can spend the $3.1 million?
Well, it's what the people voted on already. I mean,
that wasn't the question. I know what the people voted on, The question is this the best way, the way we're laying this out right now, to spend the 3 point? Okay.
Yes. With total confidence.
And there's no way to get an interim look-see at the design?
We approved the design.
We approved the Newman-Smith design. It's in the
Okay.
packet.
Yeah.
Any other comments? I'm just going to say that, first of all, I'm going to ask, is there a full basement? Is it fair to say this is only 1/3 of the building?
No, I don't want to get,
Okay.
no.
It's not fair to say.
The majority of the building is the first floor of the
The
building.
majority of the
but-
building is the first floor. It may even be like half the building, right?
Yeah, the second floor is obviously just a small
All right,
wing.
so I would caution, let's deal in facts. Second thing is a fact that we did put this to a vote, and it was sort of overwhelming, right?
69-31. 69 in favor, 31 against.
69% were in favor of spending this money to renovate that building for next. And I'll also say that while that survey, I'm not going to debate the scientific survey, but I think that the comments aren't probably quite as scientific as the answers to the questions that are asked. So if the question was asked, do you support turning, I don't think it was, do you support turning 400 East Lincoln into a home for next? Yes, no. I don't think that was it. I think it came up in responses which are much more anecdotal than scientific. So I'm going to support it. If there's no further comment from the commission, sure like to hear from the public if there's anybody out there in the room or online. If you're online, use the raise your hand function. If you're in the room, come on up and introduce yourself and tell us why you are either in favor or against the motion on the table. Somebody's got to go first.
Somebody's got to go first. Okay. I've been to a lot of these meetings on this subject, and I have to say, I'm complimenting you guys. Besides today and all the different subjects, you've got the patience. I don't even know where you get it.
Your name and
Oh, I'm sorry. Francis Martins, and I live in Bloomfield Township.
Okay, good.
Okay, so what I was going to say is that your patience is, I couldn't do this, honest to God, but I think we're beyond that point. I mean, it's time to move forward. Everybody at Next is looking, we're worried about, oh my God, May 2027 is going to come, and what are we going to do? Are we going to be there with little kids in the same school building? So first I wanted to compliment you, because it's been very complicated, but also I really appreciate the fact that you're really seriously looking at doing this now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Reagan. I live here in town for a while. We're at a point where it's almost like the road to Abilene. Nobody wants to go to Abilene, but we're all on the bus and we're trying to get there anyway. What's it, about 3.1 million? And we get a third of the building. Why are we not getting what we want? We're not going to get what we want. You've mentioned possibility for change. Okay, we're at a pivot point where we could actually plan to save some money. We need an elevator. We need better ventilation. We could actually just put a pause on this and get what we want. We're not getting the pool. We're sealing ourselves off from that. We're sealing ourselves off from the second floor. Why? The public said very clearly the one thing they wanted out of this was the pool. And they don't get it. So just take a moment. Maybe think about how much more if we spent it now. We've got a great design team. I mean, they sound wonderful. Why don't we work with them to get what serves all of the taxpayers and not just a tenant who could change in the future?
Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Wow, okay. Well, anyone online? Raise your hand, Zoom. Nobody online. Well, I'll bring it back. We have a motion. We do have a second, I believe. I guess we're going to go for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cole,
No.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Mayor Ballard,
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes,
No.
Commissioner Haig,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long.
Yes.
Okay. Motion
Unanimous.
passes. No, not quite.
I'm
Not on
sorry.
this one. Nope, but
No?
enough to pass. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you all for coming and participating. Next is, we have, I'm going to ask the commission if they want to take item C of new business before item B, because we do have
Yes.
folks from the
Yes.
48th District Court present.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to, do I need a motion to do that, Mary?
Yes, you do. to
Okay,
amend-
Okay,
give me a
motion to take item C in precedence over item B of new business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Okay. Come on down.
Thank you.
Hello again, Mr. Dunn.
Good evening. Patrick Dunn here for the 48th District Court. I am the court administrator. I'm here tonight. Thank you so much for getting this on the agenda. We're seeking approval for a fourth magistrate at the 48th District Court as required by the statute. I just want to make it clear.
Adjust his microphone.
Sure.
Or could you adjust your microphone? There you go.
There we go. Yes. We are not asking for any amendment to the budget this evening. We currently have 3 acting attorney magistrates that help the court handle matters efficiently, everything from small claims trials to arraignments. We are just asking, we're trying to be proactive, looking into the future, to add a 4th magistrate into that same rotation. So it's not affecting the budget or the finances at all. It is merely just adding, instead of 3 rotating between the various dockets that they handle, a 4th would be added to that same rotating schedule.
Excellent. Questions from the commission? Commissioner Haig.
And I admit this may be a totally ignorant question. So in what we were given under Appendix A, and it's total curiosity, it says MCL 600.8501, blah, 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 36th District. And then the next piece says in the 48th District. Can you link the 36th and the 48th for me, please? They're 12 different.
Typo.
Yes.
Are you pointing out a typo?
No.
Oh, is it a typo?
I'm not sure, and if maybe what was, it didn't get attached correctly.
Yeah, the MCL 600.850 District Court Magistrates Number, Appointment, Approval, Qualifications, 36th District. I just don't understand.
Appendix A is probably the incorrect appendix for this body.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that it is actually, because it does go on to say in each district of the 3rd class, which I believe we are.
Correct, yes.
That a person cannot be appointed unless it's been approved by the governing bodies of the district-controlled units. So we are, it is a 36, but the second paragraph discusses what we are, which is a city of the 3rd class, and therefore no magistrate can be appointed without approval of the bodies, governing bodies.
Okay.
That is correct.
It's just the way that the MCL is labeled, but the language is appropriate for us.
Okay.
It's just funny that you brought that up, now I'm rereading it. It then says the last sentence says this subsection does not apply to the 36th District.
Right.
So it's written for the 36th, but not.
Well, we never said the MCLs were written well.
Okay. I was just seeing a numerical difference at 12, like, okay, different district, different court, don't know. Thank you.
Happy to hear.
I'm still a little confused about the money thing. So you've got 3 people right now.
Correct. Yes.
You want to have a 4th person.
Correct.
But somehow the budget's not going to change?
So we only have 1 magistrate in the courthouse at one time, and they rotate. So the number of dockets that those magistrates have is not changing. We are just adding a fourth magistrate to that rotation.
Okay.
So the other remaining three will essentially be getting less docket time as this new one gets
And that
added into the fold.
is how the cost is distributed on a per docket basis. So as
That is
long as the
correct.
number of dockets is the same, you can spread it out to
yes.
maintain a higher level of sanity.
Yeah, so
That's what we're.
as I indicated, this is more proactive in the future. They are outside, they're acting attorneys, they have busy practices, so it's making sure that we can have four. We used to have four at one time. We've been acting with three for a while. They get familiar with our policies, our procedure, how the building operates, so they can be ready to go. If we lose one of the other magistrates or something else changes, that we do have to increase or decrease the magistrates' dockets.
Thank you.
Motion?
There's the language.
Anyone?
Is there one in there?
Yeah, what?
There's no motion written, is there?
It is on your agenda sheet.
Oh, Appendix B.
Do you need this?
No, I found it in there. Because we don't have it printed out for us here or anything either.
Is it just resolved to
says-
approve the appointment?
Make a resolution to approve the appointment of a fourth magistrate for the 48th District Court as required by MCL 600.8501, parens 2.
Was that you making the motion?
Yep.
Second.
Did you just make that one up? Because it's not what was written in front of you.
Is it Appendix B?
That's what it says on the agenda that was given us.
I see it on the printed, I see that on the printed agenda that we got.
Yeah, it's right
That
here.
was my
That's correct.
quick resolution to not have to do the long list.
Is it sufficient?
That's sufficient?
Because Appendix B is quite a bit longer.
Oh, yeah, okay, now I see it.
And
Appendix B, yeah.
maybe an added, to approve the proposed resolution as presented.
In
Okay.
Appendix B.
Appendix B.
And to approve the proposed resolution as presented in Appendix B of
Of item number 8.
C.
C.
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
All right, we've got lots of seconds.
Does this need a roll call?
No.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Oh, no.
I mean, you never let us talk about it. You made a resolution.
There were all.
We don't have public comments.
There was plenty of talk. Sorry.
I have something that's not related to this, but is related to Mr. Dunn. If I could actually ask him, just take the opportunity.
Mr. Dunn, do you mind taking a question from Commissioner Haig?
Not at all.
All right.
Any update on the third judge situation that you all came to us about a little while ago that we all supported?
The bill is still up in Lansing. It's in the Judicial Committee still. It did pass on the House side, but it's currently stalled in the Senate side in the Judicial Committee.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
That was it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And now we move back to new business item B, like Baker. Resolution to approve the draft request for proposals for the infrastructure master plan and to authorize posting the RFP on Mitten. Would that be the city manager or?
I think Ms. Coda is going to
Okay,
introduce
Ms.
that.
Coda.
And, I'll opine.
Good evening, City Commission. Brought forward to you tonight is a draft request for proposal for the infrastructure master plan. A little bit of background information. It was discussion at the January 24th, 2026 City Commission meeting about going out for an RFP for, at the time, what we called a capital improvement master plan. Commission discussed the scope and information about it at a workshop back in March of 2026. A draft RFP was included on the June 22nd City Commission meeting of this year, but this item wasn't discussed due to the amount of items on that meeting. Since then, internally, city staff has reviewed and updated the request for proposals and have called it now the infrastructure master plan. With this, it includes 3 phases: an analysis of the existing condition and policies as phase 1. Phase 2 is infrastructure planning framework, and phase 3 is a pilot and final framework. With that, the consultant is to provide approximately 20 deliverables and present twice at the City Commission at the end of each Phase 1 and Phase 2. And with that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Commissioner Host.
Melissa, I have, I think, 5 questions. Under item 3, objectives on page 494, what financial modeling tools are required or recommended?
You said under objectives, item 3, you said?
Yeah, item 3, objectives.
Let's address the questions to the chair, and the chair will ask the appropriate member of staff to answer.
I can address that.
That was the point, yes.
Is it okay if I address it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That was my
So
whole
basically,
point.
what that's saying is that we're going to look at how we currently are doing these projects and what we can do to do it differently with different other financial options. In other words, right now we use the 8515 format with special assessment districts. We're asking them to look at all available options as to how we could fund our infrastructure projects.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, a question under scope of work on page 495. It doesn't specify under scope of work a software platform or even ask the consultant to recommend a software platform. I don't know who wants to answer that.
So I think it does. First, we have under the Phase 1, we're going to do the analysis again, what we're doing now, make sure they have a complete understanding of that, and then the infrastructure planning framework is they're going to come back and say, okay, you're doing it this way, and maybe it's the right way, or maybe it's not, and they're going to give us a different framework. So that's when, if it's a computer-based program, then they'll tell us that we should be using a computer-based program. But it's up to that's what we're asking them to determine for us, is whether or not, if there are other alternative methods, what are they, and should we be using them?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean,
and when you refer to these, it's weird. You guys who have books have one set of page numbers. Those of us who are
completely
online,
different.
Yeah, it's like you go to the
2
item.
pages later, Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
I'm not even, but okay.
And
2 pages later.
Under deliverables, required deliverables, it does not specify a mutual agreeable software tool to implement any CIP. Now, is that, that's the question.
Well, I think the answer is the same as what he just said. If software is appropriate, certainly we want to use it. I mean, we don't want to be doing ledgers on paper, and we don't also want to be like using rudimentary Excel spreadsheets. So if there is, I want to say industry, if there is project or specific, infrastructure-specific software, we'll certainly look at it. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Or if there's a way to take what we're currently doing with BSNA or OpenGov without adding an additional platform that doesn't talk to the other platforms. I mean, I think all that
That's why
should be
I
investigated.
emphasized that we would talk to make sure they understand our existing, how we do it. And we have, basically you use a BSNA for most of it, right?
Yes.
Yes. So.
Other questions?
Side.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So I have a question. So on page 499 in the printed document, we say for 10 years. I've gone out and read these. Municipalities are looking at 15, 20, 25 years. I assume that as we get to the framework, the part 2, that if that conversation comes up, we're going to push it as far along and deep as is reasonably accurate.
I think the mechanisms and the processes that we come up with are going to be good for a long time, right?
Right.
And when they say 10 years, it's like, let's look out 10 years for if we get to that last step, we're looking at actual projects going out 10 years.
Okay, I just want to make sure we go as far as we can, because the back end of this is where the problems begin.
Yes, and the financial modeling on all the stuff that we improve.
Okay, that was it.
I wanted to point out, there was no reference when it talked about things to look back at. There was no reference to the ad hoc unimproved streets committee report, which might be something that we provide to them.
Yeah, and I think absolutely. I mean, it calls for there'll be a meeting and we'll have all those documents. I'm sure Ms. Coda might, we'll have an whole internal committee that will meet with the selected vendor and deal with that issue.
Mr. Mayor, I want to remind you that report was only accepted by the commission. It was not endorsed.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that, but I can.
I'm not sure
I've only said that maybe 5 times since we accepted it.
Well, that's a good thing, because, there might be a difference there. I don't know. Any other questions about this? I think it's a big step in the right direction, and getting a handle on this stuff and bringing public confidence back into the process, and motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the draft request for proposal for the infrastructure master plan and to authorize posting the request for proposals on Mitten.
Second.
Comments from the commission? Comments from the public? Anybody in the public? If you're online, use the raise your hand function. Okay, seeing none, this involves Moolah, so let's do a roll call.
Mayor Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Long? Yes. Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozowski?
Yes.
Unanimous. Love it. Love those unanimous votes. We've already done C. We're moving on to item D, commission items for future discussion. Motions required to bring up the item. Very little discussion of the topic will happen tonight. Anyone? You used your allotment at the last meeting.
No, I didn't.
You missed the last meeting.
That's why he had to take a recess and then recuperate his energy.
Sir.
All right, we got 2. The safety concerns expressed earlier are also mirrored in the community survey, but I'm looking to see if we would like to discuss the addition of anti-loitering devices such as the mosquito, so that we can help have younger people no longer congregate. It is a device that is legal in all states and has been in use by municipalities and private businesses for 15 plus years in the US and even longer in Europe. Just for information, it basically functions on younger people over the age of 25. Natural hearing changes means that we can't hear that frequency. It's an extremely high frequency oscillation that is just irritating, and younger people hear it. So if we fitted it around downtown and it was decided to switch it on at, say, 10 p.m., then anyone that's near it is not going to want to be near it because it just annoys your brain.
At 10 a.m.
This is crazy.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second that one. Except the 10 p.m.
It's not new technology. It's been around for decades. It's very effective.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. How can you not?
I gotta talk about this.
I would like, before it comes back to us for step 2, to have Chief Kearney weigh in on his opinion.
Have you heard of
listen,
it? You want him? It's only 9:30. You're going to ruin your streak.
Don't have much to say because I've never heard of it.
I know it from when I was a kid.
You were
It's
talking about it?
that old.
So, I've never heard of it before.
Okay.
So we'll have to look into it.
Thank you.
It's high pitch of frequency that only people under 25 can hear.
Generally speaking, 25.
Okay.
All right, that was number 1. So
Right outside Zana, right?
You might already be deaf when you
Put it
come out.
right in there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So number 2 is, you gave me a beautiful segue into number 2. I want to create a fee or use tariff for any establishment serving alcohol to support a new public safety accrual fund that, of the order of magnitude of thousands of dollars per annum, an increase by the rate of inflation or 3%, whichever is greater, so that we can support the growth that appears to be requested in public safety staffing. It doesn't mean it stays forever.
What is it?
A fee or use tariff for any alcohol-serving establishments within the city.
Second.
First, we'd have to look to see if that is possible and legal. Under the Bolt case and a most recent case from 2024, examining all the criteria of what makes something a tax versus a reasonable fee. So we can look to see if it's even legal first.
We have a motion. Wait, we have a motion and a second. She's willing to talk about it. I'm willing to talk about it.
So it's,
You willing to talk about it?
Yeah, I just want to ask the attorney a quick question.
Okay.
Why couldn't we just, we've kept the BSD special assessment flat for 3 years. Why not just add it to that as part of the BSD and just contribute it to the police department?
There may be a different mechanism. That's a separate component unit of the city, not the city. But we can take a look at that before you guys get too far down this
Right.
road as to whether or not you want to let us examine the legalities.
Fair enough.
And I know exactly what you're proposing.
yeah, I mean,
And the
to
BSD
give-
has many, many members who are not restaurants or bars.
and that's actually why I
Will
originally
benefit by the
constrained
incremental
it.
police.
So I put the constraint about alcohol because it
Close down
appears
at
to
8
be
o'clock.
related to that.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's,
I'm just giving the
we
boundary
have a motion,
conditions.
we have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Excellent.
Mr. Mayor, can I...
Hold on. We're still on commission items for future discussion. Do you
I'm
have-
done for this meeting. I had
Okay.
2.
Does
I don't
anyone
have
else
5
have
this
an
time.
item for future discussion?
I think Commissioner Kolb has one looking
Well, he doesn't have
into-
his hand up. I'd be happy to call on him if he raises his hand.
Okay,
You
then
have one?
We should look into the PSD to see what they can do to help us with the downtown safety.
That was just part of the whole thing.
Well, I didn't have that feeling. I thought,
She
just,
said there may be other mechanisms. We'll look into all of them.
okay.
You want to go down that road?
I don't know help
believe
with
that
the
was-
downtown, what that means, and
Well, he said PSD, he meant BSD, but.
he said
it's-
with help for downtown. I don't know what
Using
help-
some of the funding to help
public
support public safety downtown. Because it's not just at night. I can tell you from Sunday this weekend, it's not just at night.
Okay. Are there any further items for future discussion? No. Any discussion, well, there's no discussion on items from a prior meeting. We nothing removed from the consented agenda. We'll note communications regarding public safety and Wimbledon. We have commissioner reports, commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments or reports? Frankly, I don't know what the difference is, but advisory boards, committee, commission, legislation, city staff, Wimbledon Phase 1 project update. Is there?
Go was here for that and got some good news today.
Oh, wow.
Take it.
Setting her up.
Yes, have some good news today. Tentatively, the contractor in the agenda packet was going to start work tomorrow because they were anticipating rain was going to happen on Saturday, but they're working 7 days a week now. With that, the rain didn't happen on Saturday as much as hard, so they started the milling process today on Wimbledon Phase 1.
Excellent. I'm sure the people on Wimbledon are so excited about it. They're coming out and they're telling us what a great job we're doing. Right? Nope. Okay. Short-term rental report.
Good evening. We're still going through the same process, monitoring rentals if they're beyond their inspections. We're enforcing that, so we're really stepped that up. And I know on the one day that there was, before the cruise on Friday at 1480, there was a rental that went into that location. We reached out, Captain Kearney reached out to me, we talked to the owner. The owner actually got those guys out of there, said it wasn't a rental. To kind of explain a little bit, VRBO didn't pull that one down because the people that went into that location, they rented it a year ago. As soon as they got word, the owner got to them and got them out of there. We got documentation to say there's correspondence to get them out, and they left without dispute.
Good.
Well done.
So a grand total of 1.
Well, no, he's got more than that. He's got,
There were 6 tickets, but they're all been long-term, whether they are beyond the 30 days getting their inspection followed up or they didn't pay. So it's been, there's a few more going on, so it's just kind of an ongoing process. We're continuing to monitor it and enforce it.
Just going to let everybody know, I think owners of STRs are reading the tea leaves really well. There's one down the street from me. It had the for sale sign put up in front of it a month ago, and about 7 weeks ago, they started the clean up and getting it ready for sale. So I have a feeling that there are smart people that are trying to get out while they can still get out.
And I think out of the 2 that we revoked, one was 1480 and there's another one. They actually have it up for sale and they're trying to sell that house, so they're not renting it anymore.
So there's 2 or 3 of them that are coming off the market because
It's good news.
Right.
they're done.
So.
okay. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It is 9:30, adjourned at